Now let's talk with Ann Svennungsen. Ann, oh, you end your message with the piercing words of the German Christian martyr Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who went to his death resisting the evils of Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany. That poem, Who Am I?, goes to the core of what it really means to understand the cost of discipleship. And I guess I wonder, how has that understanding of discipleship inspired the choices that you've made along the way in your own vocation?
Right. Oh, what a great, I mean, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, what a great witness to all of us. And, you know, probably none of us will experience what he experienced as a result of living out our calling. And yet, I think many of us have those experiences where we sit on the porch swing late at night wondering, why did I get myself into this, and can I really do this? Can I really follow this call that whether it's as a parent of a 2-year-old or a pastor of a large church, we have those moments. And it is that deep sense of God's calling us beloved children, I think, that holds us and you know, provides the sort of grace and strength we need to carry on.
Ann, I wanted to go back to the story of the woman in your congregation who heard your sermon and quit her job. And I was thinking about how blessed I feel that I get to live out my vocation in my work, and I think all three of us would agree that we have that privilege. What's the message for the person who has a terrible job, but they can't quit it? They have to do it to pay the bills.
Right, and I think that I tried to speak a little bit to that about your deepest sense of vocation might not be your job, but it's like, I am doing this so I can pay the bills, so that I can, you know, take care of my family or my pet, or, you know, just so that, and I think it's really important, because not everyone has the privilege of saying, I'm going to choose a job that's always fulfilling. And we need to see vocation in the most broad terms about God really putting us on earth, and for good reasons, and us having a particular way to serve, whether it's our job.
Of course, there are multitudes now in this wounded economy who can't even get a job.
Absolutely.
So that kind of despair, I guess the message from the Christian perspective is hope.
Yeah.
Hold on to hope.
Right, right. And also the fruits of the Spirit that you will hear from Martin Marty, that, well, we are called to be kind, and we are called to be loving, and even in those difficult moments, or even in a job where we don't like it very much, we can be kind and good and righteous.
And we can be bigger than our jobs, that our vocation is much bigger.
Phrase. Yeah. Oh, what a good phrase.
I want to talk to you a little bit about your work with college students. It seems to me that for so many young people, even by the time they're applying to college, they're already applying to a specific major. They know exactly what they want to do. It seems as though we've cut short the time of exploration for young people to consider their vocation.
Right.
How do you wrestle with that in your role?
Well, and I think that comment about relationships, that's where we best discern our vocation, is really important. That, and, you know, of course, I'm biased towards a school the size of Texas Lutheran, where faculty can get to know their students, so that they can sometimes see in their students things that the students have not yet seen in themselves, and sort of draw them into a bigger imagination about what they might do. And so
a bigger imagination. Now, could you have ever imagined 1 year ago, Ann, and certainly when you were on this show last, you were senior pastor of the largest Lutheran church in your denomination, the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. Could you have ever imagined that a year ago you would be called to be president of Texas Lutheran University?
Not at all. I mean, it was, yeah, I mean, and I think Lillian and I both, as ministers in the church, can talk about places where, oh my, how did this happen? Because it wasn't even part of our imagination.
How did it
At least
happen?
I'm much older than you, but for me, even, you know, women couldn't be ordained until I was 15 years old in my tradition, so you just don't even imagine it then.
So what allowed you to imagine something that, as a young person, was impossible?
Yeah, that's good. It probably didn't happen until I went to college, and even then, you know, there was resistance. You know, my parents were like, oh gosh, our little girl is going to be a minister, and how is that going to, work for her? And yet they've had to kind of evolve. Their imaginations had to broaden as well. And
it's a delicate balance, and the delicate balance of tilling and keeping, as you refer to in your message. Here you are, a college president, a pastor, a wife, a mother, a daughter, a citizen, you know, all of these things. How do you manage to do it all?
Yeah. Well, praise God, I'm healthy and strong at age 54, and in some ways, with my children are all grown now, and there is actually
your daughter, the lawyer.
My
Sarah.
daughter, the lawyer, my other daughter, the student, and my son, who is at the Down Home Ranch, and there are lots of hours in the day, and I work lots of those hours.
The Down Home Ranch. Now, of course, the unpredictability of human life. You have a beautiful son who has Down syndrome.
Right.
Talk about it.
Yes, he's 24 now, and he's a rancher, along with 23 other young adults with Down syndrome who live outside of Austin, Texas, in one of the most wonderful places on earth, I think. It's a place where these young people have a quality of life that we weren't sure we could anticipate for John. They live together, they have a city council of the 24 of them, they have, you know, they plan their weeks, and John is works in the barn, and it's just a great blessing. And it's only 90 miles from us, so we see him often.
What a gift.
So he's living his vocation in ways that we just are amazed that that's happening.
How has your vocational journey, Ann, been shaped by the fact that you are a cancer survivor?
Oh, I think that probably was as much formative for me as a pastoral caregiver as anything I experienced, because I was on the other side. I was receiving pastoral care. I was able to discern when, you know, people were truly with me right there in the suffering, or were kind of wanting to move along, and so it was very powerful.
Was there a way in which having such a serious illness makes you have a deeper sense of vocation, because you realize time is limited? If I'm going to follow my calling, I've got to do it now?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Right. Oh, right. Yeah, I think that's really true.
Life is not a dress rehearsal.
Right. You have this one opportunity.
So often we say, oh, I'll do that later, I'll do that down the road. And I imagine for you, it became suddenly more pressing to move now.
Yeah. So that's very true.
Now, say more about your children. Your daughter, Sarah, of course, we know is the lawyer, and your other daughter is
a junior at the University of Pennsylvania. So,
what did you? We have 30 seconds. What was your guiding message to them as they chose their vocation?
And they're still choosing, but really find your gifts and your strengths. Imagine as broadly as you can. No, we're always there for you. We're in your corner cheering you on, and serve. Serve God's people, and especially the poor and the neglected. So those were strong words.
We're cheering you on, Ann.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.